All right. Good morning, world history scholars. So, unfortunately, Mr. Tragar's caught COVID, and so he might be out for a couple of days. I'm hoping to get back soon, as soon as I feel better. Um, so we'll figure out what's happening Friday. For today, there's not going to be any multiple choice quiz. Friday, there'll be no multiple choice test. Okay, we might still have an essay, but it might change how we do the essay. Okay. All right. So with that housekeeping out of the way, I'm gonna go through the slides real quick, kind of give you some idea about the Mongols. After you're done with my little video here, you got some more stuff to talk about. And you can watch if you need to. I'm gonna have a practice SAQ to do. Yeah. If you finish these things early, work on your notes. Please turn them in. They're due by tonight. Yeah. So hopefully this helps you guys out. All right. So what made the Mongols so successful? Okay. That's a big question. Turn a partner, kind of talk to each other. What do we learn from the Mongols here? Talk. What made them so successful? And you pause the video and then I'll pause when you guys are done talking. All right, welcome back. So if you guys said things like they were highly trained, great horsemen, hit and run tactics, they fought a lot of fragmented empires, they were disciplined. I'll take all those. Okay. We'll kind of break that down more. Now, the AP College Board, they focus less on all the cool Mongol conquest, and they are pretty cool. I mean, I was like last year, I listened to an audiobook about Genghis Khan, 10 hours long, super interesting backstory of this guy. Really cool. But anyways, our AP focuses most on how do the Mongols facilitate hemispheric integration. Now remember, hemispheric integration is the widening and deepening of human connections through different regions, culture, technology, uh, biological movement, all these things here. Okay. And what are the Mongols going to do? They're going to integrate the hemisphere in two large ways. First, they literally create the largest land based empire in all of human history. Okay. Maybe not the largest empire ever, but the largest land based empire. Okay. And we'll explain the difference between that later, but land based because they're focused on the land. Okay. And they unite pretty much almost all of Asia. Well, unite. They conquer all of Asia under their control. And once they're done conquering, they start to really trade. The Mongols love trade. And we already know it. Trade's been going well, but it gets going really well underneath the Mongols. Okay. So, quick thing about Mongol. Other places we learn about have been agricultural hotspots. Song Dynasty China, they grow rice, get rich from rice. Western Europe, they grow wheat, get rich from land, from crops. The Mongols are different. They do not grow crops, they herd animals. Now, herding animals makes these people what we call pastoral. This means they have to travel constantly, which means pastoral peoples tend to be excellent travelers and excellent cavalrymen or women because they have to be good at moving constantly quickly. This will translate great into either helping run trade caravans or conquering lots of places. Okay. Because they're good navigators, they're good trackers. Okay. In the past, they were never unified enough to really threaten the quote unquote civilized places. Okay. But when they are unified underneath Genghis Khan, they will become a force to be reckoned with and take on some of the world's superpowers and crush them. Now, because they're pastoral peoples, they tend to have less wealth disparity because, well, it's hard to store wealth in cows. So if you have more cows or goats, then you are more wealthy. But tends to be less hierarchical and less patriarchy. Okay, women often have to do more roles. Okay, and Mongols will actually elevate women to positions of power in some cases. Okay, but there's often constant blood feuds and fights, and this will cause problems, especially with the Mongols later down the road when the sons and grandsons of Genghis Khan get into feuds and fights. Okay, so I want you to look at the SAQ right now. Pause the video. SAQ, and the question here, it's right here. I want you to look at these three questions here. Identify and explain one reason why the Mongols were so successful in conquering great amounts of territory during the 13th century. Okay. Identify and explain how Helagu is using step diplomacy in his warning to courts. This is the Mongolian way of doing things. What is, try to figure out what Mongolian diplomacy means, step diplomacy, in his warning. And C, explain why Mongols eventually lost control over Eurasia after uniting such a large territory. So, I want you to do these three things, pause the video, and then I'll go over some answers here in a second. Okay, some answers here in a second. So I'll give you a minute for that. Pause the video. So we're working on that SAQ here. Okay, we're back. So, identify one reason why the Mongol invasions were so successful in conquering great amount of territory. Well, we could have said a lot of things, but one of the easiest one was they were great soldiers. Okay, great soldiers who had fast cavalry. You never know where the Mongols were. You might have heard they were about 100 miles away one day, and the next day they were on your doorstep. And you're like, what? How did they get here so fast? They were very quick moving professional. You can also write disciplined soldiers. You can also write they had a reputation for bloodthirstiness, reputation for being brutal. Okay. I think it's about it. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. Okay. For two is step-by diplomacy. Now, you kind of had to read this, hopefully, in the textbook. Basically, it's Mongols' work. You had one chance to surrender. My person comes by, and I go, you will surrender to Mongols. You either say, yes, I surrender everything, and my people will be spared. You might not be the ruler, might get, but all the people will be fine. Or you choose to fight. If you choose to fight, the Mongols will destroy your town, will pillage everything, will do bad things, and they will make an example of you. They'll let a few survivors go, so everyone else knows that when you don't surrender, bad things happen to you. So step A diplomacy is this: equals surrender unconditionally, and then the text, that part there, it says only those who beg our protection will be safe. Right? Basically, you get on your knees and beg for them to be in charge. Okay, you have to say, please, please, please don't kill me. I will give you anything you want. Okay, or be absolutely destroyed. This is very, very effective because if you are a lowly person, you're just, Joe Schmo, farmer guy with a bunch of other farmers, the Mongols are coming. And the ruler's like, I want to fight. And you're like, dude, are you crazy? You see what they did to the last guys? You might just go over the Mongols yourself and surrender. Right? And so often the kings and rulers will have their armies defect or just abandon or leave them because they're so afraid of the Mongols. And it's kind of like a fulfilling prophecy. Mongols kill this one person really bad, everyone else is like, I'm going to give in. Then everyone else goes, wow, they just keep crushing big empires over and over again. We best surrender. And it keeps on going and going and going. Ultimately, though, why do the Mongols fall apart? Well, there's a couple reasons for that, but the biggest one is it's hard to manage a large empire. And the empire gets split up amongst the four sons of Genghis Khan. Split up amongst the four sons, which means that the empire is split into four. Do you think all those sons are going to get along? We're like, oh my gosh, I love you, brother. You're the best brother ever. No, they're not going to get along. They're going to fight constantly. And this is going to cause the empire to break up and fall apart because the secession, so the next kids, cause more and more fights. Okay, hopefully that helped the SAQ. All right, at its height, Mongol Empire reached from all the way from northeast Mongolia, Siberian wilderness, all the way down to almost southern China, west to the heartland of the Middle East, okay, Iran, parts of uh, the old Byzantine Empire, up north to Russia. Okay, and they get pretty much the plains of Hungary and Poland, and then they fall apart. Um, this is amazing empire overall. This is one of the largest empires of all time. They are unable to conquer Japan. They tried to, and they're unable to conquer India because climate really messed with their horses and bows. But overall, they were able to conquer most of Asia at this time. It was unthinkable. Okay, this is all underneath Genghis Khan. Okay, so right, Genghis Khan himself, or also known as Chinggis Khan or Temujin, as his birth name was, he was born a lowly son. His father was killed at a young age, and he rises up as a good leader and soldier. Okay, basically, he his story is really interesting. But basically, in Mongolian culture, there's two ways to get a wife. You either work for the wife's family for a set number of years, depending on her beauty, and then afterwards you get to take her home with you. So usually around age 12 to 14, as a man, you would go seek out a family with a daughter who's ready to get married, and you work for them for a set number of years. Again, 3 to 7 years. Or a second way to get a wife is the kidnapper. Okay, raiding. So Genghis Khan chose the first option. He actually went to work for a family for 7 years. Uh, and then when he finished working and was going to take his wife home, when he was raided and someone stole his wife. And this set him on a whole path. He went to the nearby local leader and said, "Look, I will do anything you need to help you as long as you help me get my wife back." And the guy's like, "You're in." And he does a great job. He raids, gets his wife back, and then 8 months later, they have a kid. Which, think about this: 8 months. Is that kid Genghis's kid, or is that kid the other person's kid? We don't know, and this will haunt Genghis's first son his entire life. But anyways, Genghis Khan does really good doing this, and he realizes that he's a good warrior and he likes fighting. Okay, and he gets other group tribes together, and more tribes, and more tribes, and eventually he unifies the warring Mongols together under one flag, and then it starts to go south and west. He does very well. He does some reforms. He came from a no name background, from nothing, and so he implements this idea of meritocracy. Your good deeds and hard work can get you a rise. Doesn't matter who you're born to, if you're rich or poor, if you're from a good bloodline or not. If you worked hard and did well under him, served valiantly, worked valiantly, you could do well. He also was very religiously tolerant. Um, the Mongols will encounter lots of religions. The Mongols at this time themselves are shamanistic. They believe in animal spirits, pagan gods. They have their own religion, but they will adopt things from each religion. They'll go to Islam like, ooh, local wives, we like this. No drinking, we don't like that, right? Christianity, ooh, there's alcohol at religious ceremonies, we like that. And the Mongols will adopt pizza. In fact, the Mongols are somewhat Christian because the Pope will even send someone to them. Doesn't go very well, but they tried. The Pope tries to get the Mongols to swear allegiance to Christianity. It doesn't work. The Mongols serve the Mongols first, but they're cool with all religions and they will be chill with different religious backgrounds to a certain extent. Mostly Islam, some Christian, but yeah, they'll be mostly cool with most things. Again, they're not super devout to any one religion. And lastly, they give more power to women. Oh, okay. So I forgot how to say this word. Otof. Basically, this is this. It's like a joint stock company. Basically, let's say that I want to go trade with China. It's gonna be really risky for me to put all my money into China. So I get together my best 10 friends and we all put a little money into this company. That way, if it fails, we all lose a little bit. Okay. But no one is bankrupt. But if it wins, we all get some. It's like diffusing risk. Okay. And the Mongols promote trade. They love trade. In fact, they they will always pay extra for items. They keep taxes low on trade items. They will protect merchants. once they've conquered all the lands, they kill bandits and they make sure the merchants are well taken care of. And this means it's good to trade. And so this is really helpful for merchants. Kublai Khan is the grandson of Genghis Khan. He will rule 1/4 of the empire. He'll rule the China part. And he will create the Yuan dynasty. And he'll move the capital to the north, closer to Mongolia. And he claims he has the mandate of heaven. Remember, whoever in China is the ruler wants to claim the mandate of heaven, claim that they're the one in charge. Okay? All right. Hopefully this helped you get some more about Mongols. Hopefully you feel a little better about this. Watch the other videos and do your best on the SAQ. Tomorrow I'll release some LAQ stuff and we'll go from there. Take care, you all. Good luck. Have a good day. Bye-bye.